warmly welcome all our audience who are eagerly waiting for this new episode of podcast series What the Everyone by Isel and IT Raurkela to be aired. Today we have Mamta Singh as our chief guest in the show. She has closely worked with many of the renowned companies in the market like Tata Steel, McKinsey, Hayes, and ECS. She has also given most of a contribution in startups like Taxi for Sure, Blackbuck, Dunzo, and Vedantu. Apart from this, she is a very good social activist and actively working to spread spirituality, welfare works for women and children. Besides that, she also works for the weavers community, which she calls as Satrangi. With such a vast experience in corporate world and having a passion in spiritualism, she has founded Mauj for transformation. She, through the help of Mauj, helps the startups to improve their HR systems, build a conducive work environment, and help improve the leadership qualities with a scientific and spiritual approach. Ma'am, before starting the podcast, I would like to ask you that this name of your company, Moj, it is quite interesting because when I personally means heard it for the first time, I felt like it's means related to more like entertainment business. What's the story behind this interesting name?
Yes. So, first of all, namaste to all and a very, very happy afternoon. And thank you, Dipanshu. Thank you, Raj, for having me here. And so, starting with your first question, so Moj, it looks like it's for entertainment. Yes, it's for entertainment, but the entertainment not in sense of the typical stereotype definition of entertainment. It's entertainment leading to enlightenment of people. So the way it started, I was working with various good organizations and the startups for roughly around 16, 17 years in my full-time role. And I'm still associated with the corporate world, so having 20 plus years of experience, but now in a different form because the I started with Mauj for transformation. So this Mauj is when I was looking with people who were working in their organization. I saw that we were only focusing on the mind and hand that they were bringing into the organization. In the journey of my life, I came across various people and my own life experiences where I felt that people are suffering, and people are suffering is only because of the lack of wisdom. They are ignorant about the ultimate realities of life. They are totally ignorant about their own higher self, and hence they are suffering. So there was a lot of tickling in the soul that to know more about my own self, to know more about life, to know more about other people who are on the other side of the table, and to create a real meaningful impact in their life, not only in their payroll, not only in the boardroom meetings, not only as a professional or the titles that they were holding, or not only doing a typical managerial coaching or performance coaching, but that how do I impact their bigger life and how do I help them unleash their potential. All these questions and tickling led to formation of Mauj for transformation, and where the whole idea is Mauj means waves of ecstasy. So how do I create waves of ecstasy in people's life? And transformation just not means a change. It's a real shift I'm talking about, and that shift is internal. That you change, you make a shift in this life from a lower vibrations of energy to a very higher level of vibrations of energy. And on the very personal level, Moj also comes from the initials of two words, Mamta, which is my name, M-A, U-J-J-W-A-L, Ujjwal, which is my partner's name, my husband's name, UJ. So M-A-U-J becomes Moj. And what's a good thing that, if we can give a life for helping individuals as well as the corporate or anyone to transform in their journey of life from caterpillar to the real beautiful butterfly. So that's fair about it. So all my initiatives are and my projects are guided by this definition of entertainment, which is leading to enlightenment and creating a waves of ecstasy in people's life. Yes.
That was very inspiring, ma'am. Actually, the personal story that you told, initials of Mamta and Ujjwal. That's
Yes.
really amazing. Okay, so actually, ma'am, Moj the Transformation is a company to provide the guidance to the startups to become a valued brand. You too have the excellence in spirituality in this guidance. Do you feel that both spirituality and a business can work together in every scenario?
Yes. So, March for Transformation, which is the name of my organization, one of the main, I would say that you can say verticals or initiative is to work with the startups. And I primarily come from the domain of human resources, where I work in the area of leadership coaching, culture, vision, mission, setting up the HR systems and policies, making them much more meaningful for the employees, aligning it with the purpose and vision of these startups. That's the work I do. That's one. And there are many other things we do under the umbrella of Moj. But focusing more on the startup and the corporate business that you have said, yes, very well. You know, what I personally feel that spirituality and business, they are mutually inclusive. They're not mutually exclusive. If you see the word spirituality, it comes from the Latin word spiritus, which means breath, soul. Now, I personally know and feel that everything, not only every person, everything on this universe is having a soul. They're having a aura, they're having a spirit within themselves. There's not even a single matter in this 3D dimension which is not having a spirit. The spirit and the matter always coexist, they always go together. And when they go together, they come together in a very harmonious way, then the beautiful impact and results, flow. So even if you see in the organization, a startup, when the a startup is conceived, it's basically an idea. They have a purpose. Every organization and business has a purpose. And the moment purpose and vision comes into the place, a soul automatically gets attached to it. The vision of any the purpose or of any business or organization is actually the soul. The co-founders and leaders who sit together, ideate, and they bring together that idea, that let me create an impact for the well-being of something. Actually, at the end, what they are trying to do through any startup, they're trying to, at the end, create a positive impact. At the end, well-being is one, in one word, well-being. Whatever you want to do, you keep on questioning why. It's well-being. Why do you want to open a taxi? For sure, people can get cab at the click of the button. Why? Because they can go to their destination within time. Why? So that they can fulfill their task and assignments wherever they want to go, within time. So actually, at the end, we are trying to create a well-being. So every business has a soul through their purpose that the co-founders want to achieve. And all the people who finally come to the organization, they just don't come with their hand and mind. They're coming with their heart and soul. So if you see, every business is also a collective consciousness of all the individuals who come inside with the soul also. So it's a beautiful thing. And spirituality is breath and soul. And coming together of both is actually creates a beautiful, I would say, harmony, and then creates the best. So both can work together. They are never mutually inclusive, exclusive. I mean, can you, can you put your body and soul into two parts? No. Wherever your
No,
body is
ma'am, not
going,
at
your soul
No,
is
ma'am.
going. Wherever your soul is, your body is going. How can you,
Absolutely,
you
ma'am.
know, create two verticals and put them into two? You cannot segregate. Whether you and I understand or not, whether you and I like or not, they both are always moving together. The only thing is, creating mindfulness and awareness towards it, and making and creating the best out of it. Yes.
That's very
Okay, ma'am.
deep talk,
Mm.
ma'am. Actually, a business may have a soul. That's the new concept that I personally learned.
Yes, it
Okay.
has a soul. Yes.
Same. And now moving towards the next question that would be very interesting. Uh, in the journey from professional HR to transformation coach, what was the most unexpected lesson you learned from yourself?
Okay, so yes. So first of all, as I was just referring to, I was an HR professional and I'm still an HR professional. Now, just that my approach and model of working is a bit different than before. I was earlier into full-time HR leadership roles and now into a
Okay.
more of advisory, you can say, or coach or whatever you want to name it. But I'm still, connected with human resources rather much more deeply and widely, I would say. So, by realization, when I was a full-time HR leader, my one of the realizations was I started seeing people, and it gave me a very limited. Later on, much later in my career, it started giving me a limited view and perspective of individuals, which there was a tickling in the soul that is humans or the professionals just the managers and directors and vice presidents in the organization? Do they only have this mind and hand and the intelligence and IQ to work? Or the person, the manager, the VP that I'm dealing with is something more that I don't know? And what is that more that I don't know? What is more about me that I don't know? What is this beyond that I don't know? And what is it beyond of that individual that I don't know? So is it that am I seeing individuals in a little limited or a fixed framework? Or can I, or how can I break this framework to see what is beyond? That I can see with my five experience or see with my five senses, which are more external. And that's where the journey started. And my whole realization later on, brought me to a point where individuals are not only, with their mind and body, but with also their heart and soul. It started making me realize that they are the holistic being. And through my own journey of self awareness, which these questions, I started taking out time from my corporate life, from my family life, and start going for spiritual retreats or doing meditations and reading, started these serendipity, or which we call it, we don't understand, the coincidences started falling and happening in my life, and started making me realize more about my own self, my beliefs, my ideas, my past, my deep conditionings. And then I started realizing that one of my biggest realization of in this journey was I am that I am. I am the creator of my own life. And
Yes,
aham
ma'am.
brahmas. And the way I am aham brahmasmi for my own self, you are, the entire Brahman for your own self. So the entire acceptance and respect for self and others as a much more bigger entity, as a much more at the highest level of being, that started coming into my realization. And my self awareness, the knowledge of self started, expanding. So from a very limited, finite experience and world, I started moving into an expansive, infinite world and understanding of self and others. And still the journey continues. Yes.
Ma'am, that's really, really inspiring. That actually tells. Now I am able to understand why spirituality is actually important in the life, because the whole vision that you created, just created in the mind, it is extremely fantastic, and it is something very different.
Yes, yes, yes. It's actually, with the word spirituality, people get totally, two things come into their mind. One is they're thinking that, it means, going to Himalaya, becoming a sannyasi and in yogi in a different sense altogether, and leave everything and you're going there. Or the second
Yeah.
aspect, comes up is like your, you are totally, one is going to there, and one is you are becoming very very in the whole process you become very fearful, oh, the person is going to leave. Or the second aspect is bringing religion into the frame. Okay, religion, spirituality, every religion is a path or a personal faith or designed to attain spirituality. But if spirituality is not something which is in Himalayas or in religion, it is always with us. You can be modern, you can be rich, You can be very, very heroine, or you can be actress, you can have Mercedes, you can own anything, but you have to live with a spiritual awareness. One needs to understand and bring in spirituality in their daily life. It's a very, very practical thing. It's not something just for yogis. We can be yogis while being a bhogi in our day-to-day life. So that's when we make it that
Okay.
simple, then it becomes, very easy. That's what I wanted to
Definitely.
bring in this point. Yes.
Okay.
I really like this
So,
concept, and yeah, yeah, I really like this concept, and I personally like yours Aham Brahmastra concept. That's hit
Thank you.
difference.
It's all comes from our, definitely, our scriptures have already said, as you know, these concepts of spirituality are not new. All these, if you go through ancient Vedic scriptures, it has been spoken and practiced. Unfortunately, there was a period of slavery or attacks which happened, invasions which happened, and India particularly lost all its, most of its, I won't say all, the spiritual wisdom. That is, the core which we say is that भारत जो है वो विश्व गुरु बनेगा. Again, the entire thing has started coming up, because every
yes.
place has their own strengths and uh, talent. Some we have learned a lot of science and technology from different countries. In spiritual wisdom, India is the, I would say, the land. And I would keep on saying that spirituality is no more a choice. It's very much a compulsion, because it's an exercise for the soul. So if anyone is thinking that it's a choice and an option, I can do it, I cannot, I don't think. And COVID has taught us very well, that, what higher level of intelligence and strength helped each one of us, and how we all are interconnected. But yeah, we can keep on talking about this. Over to you. Thank you.
Okay. Ma'am, you are also a business coach. So let me clarify my one of the doubt that I have listened from my colleagues as I am in the first year. I have heard from many of my colleagues that they say that the best time to start a startup is first year, because after first year you won't get much time to make a startup much scalable or much profitable. What is your opinions regarding this?
Yes. So, a little correction here. I am a coach, but my coaching expertise is more drawn towards leadership coaching and life coaching, or transformation coach. The moment you say a little business coach, sometimes people might get confused is also working in the business models or the financial models of the startups, which I don't intervene into. That's not my expertise. But yes, I'm associated with business and startups, so we have the business flavor in that. But my expertise in terms of coaching is more towards leadership coaching, and you can call it a life coach or a transformation coach. So now coming down to your question, so starting, the first year of while you are starting a startup, I would say that yes. Uh, See, when you want or desire to build a 10-story building, okay, so the lot of initial years of work, first and the second year of work, goes is happening in silence below the level of the surface of the earth. Okay, if you're not laying down a strong foundation in terms of building, we call it neve. If you're not doing that underground work in putting those pillars and strong foundation, you know you cannot build a tall story building which you want, say 10-story building you want to create. So the initial first year of the foundation, whether it's 0 to 1 year and the 2 years, is very, very critical to setting the foundation of the startup. There are many people who think, oh, I just have a beautiful idea, I can create an app, and they jump into it. I would say that take a pause, step back. You have a beautiful idea, hold on to that idea. Don't jump into coding and creating an app and start, getting into how I can make it a unicorn and a decacorn. Hold on to that space with the initial first year. Go a little slow and have a lot of patience, because that is the time you put all your foundations related to your idea. Now, foundations can be everything, not just the idea. It is that there has to be a entire strategy, the business strategy, the technical strategy, your financial model, your business model. You have to do a lot of thinking and reflection in terms of, what kind of organization you want to create, and what kind of impact you need to create in this society. What is going to be the vision and values of the organization? You need to be very, very clear that in terms of setting the foundation, what kind of people you would like to hire in your team who can, walk together. Set up a mentor, who can always guide you. These are the time when you set up all these things, you do a financial planning. I recently met a co-founder who has just put up an idea, and the company is under formation, is still in a stealth mode. And I just said that while you're putting your idea and company is getting formed, please go and meet 2, 3 people who have been very successful in the area that you want to, initiate your startup. He's going to work in the area of food. Then I also said, go and meet 2, 3 people who have not been so successful. The success stories gives you a lot of inspiration that I can do it, but you cannot just blindly copy, because what works for them might not work. But also not so successful, maybe a company got shut down, maybe the company, in our definition, I don't call anyone, getting failed, but in our definition is has failed, but again kind of bounced back. So go and meet those people and learn from their good things and their mistakes, and put those things up in your strategy, in your roadmap, and build up those backup plans and work on yourself. So a lot of all these foundation work has to happen before you really jump into the market and make things absolutely visible and go for funding or the next steps. Because once you start getting into that, once you become very visible and out in the market, believe me, you will have very less time to step back, breathe, and then. So it's moving very fast. So it's better that you set the foundations, because see, there are 2 things. You have to decide as a co founder, you just want to go fast, or you want to go fast but far. If you want to go fast and far, sustainable organization, business you're trying to build for the well-being of all, not only for yourself and for the group of employees and investors, but all the stakeholders, then you really need to put all these, profound thinking, strategies, mentoring, clear thinking about your goals and everything in the very 0 to 1 and 1 to 2. And then, of course, every time, quarterly, annually basis, there has to be a kind of a gap or a moment of pause where again you kind of keep recreating your strategies. But your these strategies which are workable, the working ones, has to get aligned with the foundation that you have set. Otherwise it's going to fall. I'm telling you, might scale very fast, and all your foundations, process, systems, right people in the place, your clarity of the vision, your financial model, is completely, you never discussed, you never thought of. There is no mentor. You decided that while I'm entering, let me have a mentor also who will come with his or her own experience. And that's so very beautiful. So take help from every corner and set the right and solid foundation. Yes. So it's important. The very first is very important.
Ma'am, okay, I have got that answer, but I have a cross question. That the process that you have explained is a bit lengthy, and often the people in their budding stage or in their foundation stage are not means they are not mentally prepared to invest that much time. So in that scenario, can spirituality help to recreate that mindset and means correct it?
See, spirituality is something which is going to help everyone. Okay, I always say that spirituality, is something. It's a higher level of intelligence, and it's staying connected with your inner soul, your inner spirit. In terms of what you say is your subconscious, which is the seat of higher level of intuition and creativity. What is spirituality? When I'm saying, okay, you stay connected with your inner self, simple words, your higher self, inner self. What do I mean by inner self? In inner, we have conscious and subconscious mind. There is a soul power lying at the seat of subconscious mind. We have heard, a lot of research has happened in the area of neuroscience and psychology. The presence of conscious and subconscious mind has been well established. And subconscious mind, which is, we are saying that, sixth sense, is already existing. And so when we say getting connected, and that subconscious mind is the seat of power, is a seat of your higher level of creativity, higher level of intuition. Okay. So if you're connected with your inner self, without process, because at the initial, as you said, that, my experience is not so great, my knowledge of the business world is not so great, all the people, process, and systems are not in place at the very start of any startup. So the more so you are living with this spiritual intelligence, you will be able to take, better decisions and right decisions. You will be much more creative. You have to come out with solutions, which needs, disruptive innovation and creativity. So when you are spiritual, you're practicing certain things and you're spiritually rooted, all these higher level of flavors of leadership and creativity, intuitive leadership will come into the place. And yes, of course, it is very much needed. And now, see, those who are ignorant and they don't know, then I would wish and pray, let it come to them also in any part of time. But for anyone, be it the children who are studying, who are giving exams, or a housewife who runs a family, who she needs, or he or she needs a higher level of, patience and love to deal with the family, which is your real world, and in corporate also. So we are dealing with a lot of, stress, anxiety, and decision making. So with everyone, or an artist or a sports person, I mean, if you see Virat Kohli, you have seen the changes this World Cup. Or if you go and see with anyone, they, behind that, they have started practicing, they have started realizing its importance, and it is learnable, it is practicable. So one should start being aware and start incorporating, just that, whatever you do, you are spiritually aware of the concepts and your approach and philosophies and values, just that, and the beauty will come out. You don't need to worry about that. Yes.
Uh, okay, ma'am, that's really great. Now, as we are talking about the startups, so let me ask means really but obvious question, but important, that what are the major factors on which the success of the startups depend, or the factors due to which the startup may get a setback in its budding stage itself?
Okay. So I could share my own experiences, which is very, very, workable experiences working with, various startups. And I'm trying to give a very, very practical insight towards it. Though there are a lot of Harvard research has also done a beautiful paper. I was going through it recently, that what are the elements through which startups fail, success. See, what first of all, though we'll talk in maybe your little later about it much more deeper and in detail. The success is, I would personally say, at the very beginning, if a co-founder can, start detaching themselves with the word success and failure, then the journey will be really beautiful. While there has to be a clear cut purpose, the success factors for me will be that have a very, very clear purpose, why you are getting into it, a vision. Of course, your idea must be there, and because that is why you have already entered into a startup. Because when I go, usually seed fundings have happened, or they're about to get a seed funding, and then I start working. So it means that your idea, your product fit market, your strategy, a little bit of your experiences with customers have already been tested by you or by your few customers, as well as some investors. It has already been tested. So while I'm assuming that your idea is good and you have the product fit market with you, I think be very clear with your purpose and vision. And then, one thing which is required for success in everything, why only startup is also one of your, one of your desires. You might like to, be a very successful sports person. You might like to be a very successful musician or an artist, or you might like to be successful in getting admission into your one college of the world, whatever you want to. You know, one thing is which helps you and for sure gives you determined success, which I've seen is, pure intent and commitment. Pure intention here means your intentions are so pure that there's no element of space for fear, doubt, greed, any of this kind of a thing. There is no resistance in your intention. So when you are landing yourself, you're landing with pure intention and a commitment. Now, when I say I want 10 crores of rupees in my bank, and when I say I'm committed to have 10 crores of rupees in my bank, do you see the difference? Want
Yes,
reflects our
yes.
desire, but that desire with, is not having so much of a power. When you say commitment, there is a power and it means there is no looking back. So when you cut all the other options and there is no looking back, then that commitment gives so much of a power and a drive that it is going to make you successful. Your plans might change. See, your plans might change. Your purpose and vision will never change. During the course of the journey, you might tweak with your plans, you might face challenges, but ultimately you will be really, really successful in the highest level of, meaning. What is success? It's a progressive realization of your ideal worthiness. So it's not that. And every success, what you mean by success is a definition is very individual, it's very different for all, but it's a very, very progressive realization. Progressively you are realizing your ideal worthiness and you're progressively evolving and growing in your life, in whatever target you have set. So this is what I personally feel. If you have pure intention and commitment and very clear cut purpose and vision, you are going to be very, very much successful. And of course, you can get an you need to have a very good idea and this and that. I would also say that, once you're very clear, you should look for a co-founder who is very complementing your skills. You might be good in business, other person needs to be good in technology, or see, I mean, do a self reflection. Look for a very, very competent, a strong co-founder who with whom both of you are familiar with each other, and they're going to complement your skills, and it should be a good partnership in the journey. Both has to be like two wheels running together fast and far, to achieve the goals together. So these are, I would say that, this is definitely some of the factors. But and my own experience, if I say what are the factors where it might bring a lot of challenges or shut down, there could be, like I said, related to product or funding. Barring those more internal things, that I would say that, with my personal experiences, uh, factors which might slow down the growth or success of your startup is, or might create a lot of challenges or chaos or delay your progression, is that the co-founders, first of all, if they should be very clear in thinking about their goals, about their specific goals, very clear thinking about with a very specific goal. So I'm not using the word just thinking and goals, I'm saying clear thinking, and I'm using the word specific goals. It is very, very specific goals. A specific thinking is loud and clear in your mind. Okay. And many a times I've seen that co-founders, they are very clear about their idea or what they want to do, but they're not very clear in terms of their thinking and specific goals. If you ask them to verbalize it and write it down, they might, especially in the initial stages, they would, or the early startups, because you have mentioned, they need to pay focus. Second is, I've seen that the next, after having specific goals, and clear thinking, the key to success is relentless execution. There is no rocket science in any startup. Let me be very clear. Whether it's B2C or B2B, whatever you want to do, barring a very few that, okay, you are working in a NASA or something where you're dealing with higher level of, high level of technology, your, exposure is high, or the impact on the globe is very high. There is no rocket science generally in the startups. So the relentless execution is the key to success. And there again, I see that many of the, they would set up the plan, they would set up, have meetings, but, following it through the end of the last step of execution, again, many leaders miss that. Now, the third step will be, again, once execution is happening, because we are moving very fast. And usually in the initial stages, there is lack of the right number of people in the team, or processes or systems are missing. So the very strong, robust review mechanism, which needs to happen quarterly and monthly also, because you're going to review that whatever plans I have set, whatever execution is happening, is it happening the way we decided and agreed? Is there kind of a gap which is arising? If so, let me fill those gaps here and now, rather than waiting at the end of the month or the quarter or the year. So I've seen, again, there is a lack of most of the places a robust review mechanism. So the review mechanism or the framework has to be very, very simple. You don't need a very fancy or a elaborate, but the whole idea is simple framework. Do you meet every week religiously, and at the end of every month, to see that things are happening based on, as per your plan? And the fourth factor is, I would say that, communication. This is, I have seen, I would, if I may say so, 99.9% of the co-founders, they lack in making, or they hesitate in doing communication to the people, both in written as well as verbal. Now, communication is so important. Why? Because the idea and vision is inside your mind. The very few 4 or 5 or 10 people who are working closely with you day in and day out might know you, might getting those flavors. But what about the rest of the organizations, the rest of the 40 people, 100 people, 200 people who are there in your startup? They also need to know that flavor and essence. They also need to feel, and that can happen only through communication, verbal as well as written. And they hesitate, or they shy away, or they don't give importance to communication. So I would say, communicate again and again and again and again, and better and better and better. But do communicate, because that's one of the very, very important tool, a very powerful tool. It's simple words. Whether you're speaking, it's simple words. Whether you're writing, it's simple words. But that's the way you are expressing everything of yours. You're bringing everything. You have also, through that, you bring a lot of energy and motivation inside the organization. Okay, not only making people aware and giving them an update, but you have to bring a lot of energy. See, coming back to physics, everything is energy, everything is vibration. And to manifest everything, we need energy. And we need to vibrate at certain frequency to achieve that goal. Now, co-founders, leaders needs to bring that energy and further create that, spiral whirlpool of energy which is going upward. And then only the manifestation of goal can happen. So this is where I coach and I push a lot of all the co-founders to communicate again and again and again, because it has been proved in psychology, mind learns through repetition. So lot of thing, if we want to infuse in someone's mind, we need to communicate and communicate and communicate. We need to energize. So communication is something, out of all the 4 factors that I've mentioned, Communication, frequent, robust communication, effective communication is something which is missing in most of the startups, which are primarily in the early stage, because co-founders overlook this. They feel that, okay, I have a best product, I have a good idea, funding is happening, I can do anything that I want to. So there needs somewhere a mentor or a coach who can come and start, helping them, because yeah, their bandwidth is choked, their hands are full. So they need someone to help them in this journey and be with them as a coach or a mentor, or they need to hire right kind of a people. And the fifth and most important, hire right. Hire right doesn't mean always hire bright. Hire for will rather than skill, especially in startup, unless and until it's a very very high tech something where skill is very important. It's the will of the people who is going to make you successful. And every startup is different, every co-founders have different philosophy, different vision. Hire those people who are hooked to your vision and philosophy. Hire those people, who understand the startup, who come with mental and physical agility, because startup requires a different breed of people. They need to be agile. They can roll up their sleeves and become hands on. They can't say, hey, in previous organization I was a vice president, I come with 15 years of experience. No, you have to build from scratch. So it requires a different mindset, a different level of physical agility. There's no place of ego in a startup. Actually, startup is a beautiful place to experiment, or work with the spiritual essence, because in spirituality the highest aim is dissolve all your ego and get liberated. And here also in a startup I feel a lot of connect, because any people who are very rigid and they come with a very very high level of ego, they cannot work in a startup. So hire right. Every co-founder needs to lay a lot of importance and time in hiring the right, who connect with their idea vision, and who has those, three, four, I would say that qualities of, working in a startup, which is given. You don't have time to build and train. See, that is where I'm saying hire right. Pay more in bigger organizations. When I was with Tata or the wonderful organizations, SRF or Lafarge, they gave me a lot of window to train me. Okay, they send me to where they have a lot of time, resources, and patience to train any individual. But here things are moving a bit fast. So we need people who can plug in and play, at least the initial phases of 5 to 7 years for sure. Later on, once you become little stable, your resources, your team, your structure is in place, you have moved from series A to series B, you can start having those systems of training also in your place. That's fine, but initially look for hiring right. Yes. It's beautiful. Yes, thank you so much. I think your questions are bringing a lot of, the ideas and thoughts within me. I mean, it's getting triggered and invoked within me. And I'm loving sharing with you guys. Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks, ma'am.
okay.
Welcome, ma'am.
Thanks, ma'am. So, on that note, let's jump on a little bit fun question. Um,
Yeah.
that is, so as you are a spiritual therapist, so in the world of spiritual therapy, if a emotion had a flavor, which ice
Hmm.
cream flavor would represent each emotion, and of course, why?
Okay. Well, it's a very fun but very interesting one. Yeah, emotions we need that it's like a energy in motion. Okay, if you see emotions, and I broadly define emotions into two verticals, that actually if you see at the core there are only two emotions. One side is love and the other side is fear. All the positive emotions, which we say compassion, creativity, forgiveness, hmm? All the beautiful ones, joy, bliss, it is actually emanating from the core emotion of love. Once we experience love, become love, This is a fountain which is always bringing these positive emotions. You will feel that when you're feeling loved, or when you're receiving and giving love, all positive emotions are, sprouting from inside in that moment. Now, the other side is fear. So, at the core is again fear. And all the negative emotions like insecurity, jealousy, guilt, kind of a fight of competition, to kill that competitor, these kind of negative things, even in the business world, I have seen these things, or high level of always comparing, competing in all negative sense, it stems out from the emotion fear. So if I say only love and fear, and you want to put me a flavor of ice cream, though the color of love, because it is always symbolizes with heart, and heart is red, and it is sitting there. It's a heart is a seat of love. I would still put it, ignoring the color red, I would say vanilla ice cream. Though vanilla, the color of the ice cream is white. But why I'm saying vanilla is because I feel love is as pure and simple like vanilla. And when there is love, it's all plain, simple vanilla. There is no mixture of anything and anything. It is just sitting at the core, at the deep. It's just sitting at the highest level. So once we are love and experience love or be in love or receive and give love, life is or business is very simple and pure. Okay. Now, coming to fear, I would say maybe blackcurrant, because, blackcurrant ice cream, one, the fear, if we keep on going with fear, guilt, on all these negative emotions trip, we are only getting into darkness. Okay. And we are here in this life to evolve. We are here to move towards light, higher and higher and higher level of light and love. But any fear is always taking us towards, darkness, where we don't know anything. We are unable to comprehend, aware, or see, feel anything. It's so much of a darkness. And then black current, this fear, what it does, it keeps giving us, current and internal shocks. Because more fearful we are, it brings more fear. Again, it's physics. Where you start, you come back. Like, brings like, the law of, you can say that the law of attraction, whatever you think, you feel, or you say, that, universe bring you again more of it. So the more you are fearful, the more of, these shocks keep, God, what has happened? I want to remove, this poverty thing from my life. I want to have more money, and every time there is challenges related to money coming into my life. Why those similar patterns are occurring? Because we are living in that, we are operating from the place of fear. So black current, it keeps giving us current and shocks, and again we are shocked that why these, patterns of fear or negative emotions are coming. So the whole idea is to move from black currant to vanilla ice cream. But yes, in isolation, both ice creams are beautiful and delicious.
Oh, okay, ma'am.
Yeah,
That was a very intelligent answer. Ma'am,
thanks.
actually, you had a very inspiring career in HR when you was working with the corporate. Now you are means with an essence of spirituality. You want to means teach leadership qualities as well. So what encouraged you to work for viewers? Because that section is not related to HR, and it is not actually related to leadership as well. So what what motivated you to work for viewers, and you call them Satrangi as well?
Yeah, so as I say, mm, maybe, being born and brought up in India, I think, or any place of culture where the culture has thrived, or art, has, deeper meaning, a presence in any part of the world, but I can talk about India. I think in any state of India, we have seen that there is very unique art and culture. Artifacts are there. And if you go by the history of all these artisans, weavers, or any kind of, I primarily am here trying to deal with those weavers and artisans who's dealing with sutra, the thread, you know but there could be many other types of art which is coming from rock to wood to many other sound, and a lot of, it's in India, you can keep counting and the list will be long. So while traveling various places, I don't know, unknowingly, even being a child or when I was a teenager, when I was doing my college, I was always drawn and attracted towards these art items or craft items, and I would always stop and take a pause to see it, to feel it, and if I had little bit of a money, I would buy it and gift it to people, or put it in my place. Now, coming from that, so this one, I would say that again, you can call it a serendipity, synchronicity, a lot of things you don't plan in your paper. So there was always, what I say is, maybe there was a, when you are actually connecting with your subconscious mind, because through various practices you are most of the time always in touch with your inner self, and your inner self knows what you are good at and what you really want, and what is going to be very meaningful and beautiful for you, wherein doing that as an individual you will feel fulfilled or happy about. Your inner self knows. Maybe your conscious mind is too busy and might have forgotten or might not know. So because you are connected, so this happened, then we call it, hey, it's a magical coincidence which has happened. So this starts happening, and it happened in 21. It's been only 2 years, and it was the corona time, and I want to, cutting the story short, I went to buy saris from Banaras. I'm born and brought up in Bihar, and Bihar, UP, Jharkhand, it's common, that place is very culturally, they are very they have a lot of similarities there. I had gone to Bihar, and I was had to buy some saris to gift it to my relatives. And then there was a newspaper which said that government of Bihar have called the weavers in, certain place. And so I thought, why, instead of going to a showroom, let me go there. I have to just buy three. When I went to buy there, I saw the plight of the weavers, and they were begging to buy more. I said, what happened? They said, Corona, no selling. All the showrooms are closed, and we are, so that triggered an element of compassion within me, a connect within me, a question, what is happening? Even in Corona time, lockdown, I'm eating, instead of one time, I'm eating 5 times. We all were be eating actually more. Those were, it's a little testing time for many who lost their loved ones or they suffered. It was, God bless each one of them. But still, many of us, we were eating and having a gala time inside the house. We were worrying, we were feeling bad and sad about the world. But still, if you see our daily life, I said, these people are not even having a one-time meal or enough money to run their family. And then, these lot of these are crafts will die because, people are not buying it. And all these art and craft, if you see the history, it's not a history, it's not as old as 100 years. 500,000, those many years, and through these arts, actually, these were so intelligently designed that by wearing those kind of a clothes, by using those kind of a art, if you keep that art in one corner of your house, or if you're keeping that kind of a wooden thing, it's going to create a positive energy within you. It is going to make you feel very good from inside. Even art of making essence, agarbatti, the true ones, not that the commercials ones which are, which is handmade, and there's lot of science which has gone inside it. We call it camphor, we call it whatever, the bells. It's not just a piece of matter or material to make your house beautiful or do some jingle bells with it. The every jingling, it creates a sound vibrations which lifts up your vibration. So there's so many things, it was very intelligently designed for the use of mankind to elevate their vibrations and feel good and happy or peaceful. So we are losing those elements. And one, the compassion came for the survival. So I kept on working with my own hands and heart, completely selling their products without any team or showroom, helping them to survive. Then the second love then came for, the beautiful craftsmanship that goes behind that, and how it creates so much of, beauty. So from there, the whole I felt very good. A good push and pull came from the weavers as well as the customers. Customers were getting 50% of the price of the from the showrooms I was doing at my home through the various exhibitions in a very, very simple and humble way. So I felt it always brought tears because weavers started bringing their families and showing up to me that, their wife is speaking, thank you, ma'am. Allah aapko barakat de. Aapki wajah se aaj is baar ghar ka chulha jala. So when these lines were, tears would come, when customers would feel very good because it's not only draping them with sari. My idea was to draping them with confidence. Every woman who came at the doorstep, that beauty is not just external, it's skin deep. So how do I bring that beauty outside? So I started enjoying the process, though I'll be very, very honest that my knowledge or my experience of weaving or tana and bana was, or still very low, was at that time very low. I've still a little bit gained, but it was not at all there. But that brought a different, it started blossoming and taking me into different directions where I started enjoying and feeling it. And hence the whole thing, that Satrangi, the seven colors, because I'm dealing with clothes with has colors, and the seven colors of rainbow. And that every woman is pleading that color my achal with all the seven colors and make me that gorgeous and beautiful. So it's a very humble attempt initiative, and thanks to the universe and the weavers who have helped me. It's nothing of me, it's conditional. I'm going slow. Let's see where it goes. I have no agenda on that. Whatever little I do is what I can do, and it makes me very blissful.
Yeah, I can completely relate to your words because I'm also from Bihar.
Okay, nice connecting.
Yeah,
Yes.
Uh, okay, ma'am. So it was all for today. It was very nice talking to you. I really myself has means experienced and learned several new things, and I'm sure that Raj would also have learned
yeah,
other
of
very
course.
new things. It was just fantastic.
Yes, yes.
It
Thank you
was
so much.
mind
I
blowing.
think, yeah, yeah. Yes, I keep saying that, when we say that spirituality, leadership,
Yes,
business, or
ma'am.
weaving, or there's a lot of work, the sutra, the thread which weaves, common to all is actually the spiritual intelligence, which is the higher level of intelligence guiding all the other level of intelligence. We initially said only IQ, then we moved with Daniel Goleman to EQ, then SQ came, spiritual quotient. And to be more effective as a leader, we need to be higher on spiritual quotient. And hence, I say that, because see, we are actually, a leader has to bring vision, wisdom, courage, and compassion. We are talking about the soul based leadership these days. And the soul based leadership is, leader is not only who's running a corporate or a startup. A leader who's running any kind of a group, a family or a community or political party or a business or a country, or maybe you guys are leader in your own college. So everyone, has to come with a soul based leadership, where you don't only come with your mind, but you come with your mind, heart, and soul, and bring your complete self on the table. So there has been a shift from IQ to EQ to SQ. And better, sooner we start realizing, the better it is, because I've seen those areas of this leadership or spirituality, because I say that every individual is a leader, and we all can become more effective in this journey of leadership. But and what is leadership? It is actually a collective, it's basically the sole representation of the collective consciousness. The leader is representing the consciousness of the group, which is just the soul, the entire thing. And hence, this element is becoming more and more important. We are saying that because, see, everywhere, in corporate world, there is stress, anxiety. In personal life also, we face depressions, and more these things are coming up. More and more we need this kind of intelligence, because these are the things which is going to combat and help you. Otherwise, a rat race is being created, and in this race, even if you win, you remain a rat. But a spiritual person creates a happy champion, becomes a happy champion, and they create a happy champion. They create a happy community. They create a happy family. So what's the fun of winning a rat race when we still remain a rat? So it's so very beautiful, and I'm also on my journey of learning and contributing and evolving. It's just the beginning. I just kept on saying that कि खरीद पाऊं खुशियां उदास चेहरों के लिए, मेरे किरदार का मोल इतना कर दे मौला. That defines everything, whether I'm in corporate, in my family, or park, or in any workshop, or anywhere. That makes me very fulfilling. And I'm really so very grateful to you, Raj, Dipanshu, and your entire team for bringing me here. I'm really very, very grateful. Your questions have been very, very deep and nice, and I really appreciate your invitation, your questions. I appreciate giving me this time and space to express myself. And in all these expressions, I think I have become more better than I was an hour before. And wishing you and the entire team a very happy transformation, a very wonderful and blissful life ahead. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for
Thank you,
giving
ma'am.
your valuable time. That means a lot to us. Thanks a
Yes,
lot.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.